Hey everyone, it's Rachel here from the Shades of Orange. I am so excited to be filming my TBR for the upcoming BookTubeAthon. Now, last year during the first BookTubeAthon, I hadn't yet started my channel and instead spent a week watching everyone's videos, being insanely jealous, and just wishing I was part of it. So I'm so excited to be part of this year's BookTubeAthon. Should mention that I am working all week next week as well. I do have other obligations, I have a husband, I do have some events with friends that as much as I want to, I'm not going to cancel because of the BookTubeAthon, so we'll see how much reading I'll actually get done, but this video is kind of best case scenario, what I would really like to actually get finished. We'll see what happens. Now the first challenge for the BookTubeAthon is to start and finish a series, and this is the only challenge that I've decided not to participate in. I looked through my list of books that I wanted to read on Goodreads and nothing really suited this challenge very well. The only series that I honestly are interested in reading are epically long with giant tomes of books, and just nothing really made sense for this challenge, nothing that I could even remotely dream of getting done this week. So I decided to skip that one. One that would have worked, and maybe some other booktubers might want to try, is the duology of Boxers and Saints, that graphic novel. But I wasn't able to get it from my library, they're out on loan, and I won't be able to get the two copies this week. So, oh well, that's alright. I'm going to try the rest of the challenges, so wish me luck. Now the first challenge that I plan on actually attempting is to read books with pictures. And of course, since I love graphic novels, it only made sense for me to pick up some of those. This first one I've had a request from the library for a while, so it's just lucky that I actually got this in time for the BookTubeAthon. And that is Afterlife with Archie by, I'm sorry, I don't even know the authors on this one. But this basically takes place in the Archie universe. Probably like many other people, I grew up reading the Archie comics. And basically they took the Archie characters and put them in a zombie apocalypse, or a zombie-like world, and it's actually supposed to be really good. It's gotten fantastic reviews. It's supposed to be insanely dark, and it's not campy at all or cheesy like it might sound, but it's actually supposed to be a phenomenal zombie story. And I haven't actually read any horror-like zombie books, but I'm really hoping I'll like this one. The art is phenomenal. It's these bright, dark colors. And I'm just blown away looking at this. So I hope I can just fly through this one because I'm so excited. I want to pick it up now, but I'm going to wait until the start of the BookTubeAthon. But it's so hard not to pick this one up right now. Very excited for it. And like many other people, I'm currently watching the brand new revision of Sailor Moon Crystal, which is available on Crunchyroll. And that really got me all excited about the Sailor Moon universe once again. So I also grabbed some graphic novels, or rather manga, from the series. I've already read the first 2 volumes, so I picked up 3 and 4, and just very excited for these. I'm hoping to just jump back into these, and I just thought this was a perfect opportunity to do that. I should mention that both these graphic novels as well as this one both have red on the cover. You have the beautiful red stenciling, and of course Sailor Mars is dressed in red, so that would also work for the challenge to read something in red. So go me. As well, I picked up a couple more graphic novels just in case the other 2 just don't suit my mood. So I picked up a couple more volumes of Y the Last Man by Brian K. Vaughan. I've been working through this series. I'm currently reading volume 3, which I think I'll be done before the start of the BookTubeAthon, so I thought I'd continue on and pick up volumes 4 and 5. We'll see if I get to these. The next challenge I want to attempt is to read a genre that I've read the least this year. So I looked at my Goodreads stats, and there's a couple different genres I haven't read very much of this year. Particularly, I haven't read very many classics, but honestly, I don't really want to speed read any classics over this next week. So instead I decided to go with nonfiction. I only think I've read 2 books that I classify as nonfiction. And those don't count memoirs. I always count those in a separate genre category. So this is probably the most random book of this whole video, but bear with me. I'm going to read Building Better Families, A Practical Guide to Raising Amazing Children by Matthew Kelly. I don't have any children. I'm not pregnant. I'm just basically reading this because it's a book that I've actually owned for quite a while. My sister gave this to me years ago, before I was even married, and because I don't have any children, basically it's just sat on my shelf. I've been trying to read through a lot of the books on my shelf anyway, and since this is nonfiction, I thought this was a perfect time to squeeze it in. It's only 180 pages, so I figure I can fly through this one, and it just seems like it should be a really light read. It's got, you know, big font on small pages, and that's exactly what I want for the BookTubeAthon. So I'm going to try it out and see if it holds my attention. I feel I should mention that I might still mix up these challenges a little bit. I'm planning on treating the nonfiction as my genre choice, but the other genre I've read none of this year and really never read in general is horror, so technically I feel like I could get away with putting this in here because this is supposed to be horror. It's not fantasy sci-fi. It's supposed to be very dark, and it is classified as horror on Goodreads. So I can probably get away with using this, but I read a lot of graphic novels, so I don't know. Thoughts, maybe, but so if I don't know. I'm still in decision about whether or not I'll count that if it comes down to it. Now the next challenge actually stumped me a little bit, and that was to have someone else pick out a book for me to read. And I really wasn't sure how I should go about getting that recommendation. At one point I was just going to go on Twitter and ask someone to give me a book suggestion, but because everyone else is going to be on Twitter and they kind of know why I'm asking, I kind of felt that any choice I would get would be a little bit forced or expected, so I kind of wanted to do something a little more spontaneous out of the blue, and I decided to ask that question instead on my personal Facebook and basically see of my 100-some, you know, friends who would end up actually answering that question and give me a book suggestion. Well, the first one to respond was actually my sister, who told me to pick up Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I've never read this one. It's actually relatively short. I think it's 300-some pages in this copy with really large font. So I should be able to fly through this. I will say disclaimer, I know there are serious issues with Orson Scott Card as an individual, that his personal beliefs I do not agree with, I do not support. Would not choose to ever buy these books just because I don't want to provide money to his other causes, but at the same time, this is such a classic science fiction. It's one of my sister's all-time favorite books, and she's been begging me to read it forever, so I thought this was a really good opportunity. And this also worked out really well because I also had, of course, the challenge to read a book that was also adapted into a movie, and Ender's Game was made into a movie in 2013 starring Harrison Ford, which I have wanted to watch for quite some time. So I figure I'll rent it from my library and I can watch it after I finish reading the book. So I'm actually really excited about this one. I've heard great things from my sister, so hopefully I enjoy it. Now the last challenge that I'm going to attempt is to read 7 books over the course of this week. The alternative challenge is to read 300 pages a day, which I already know I will definitely not hit. But I think with some graphic novels in the mix, I somehow might actually finish reading 7 books next week. I'm hoping. I want to succeed so badly. So I did pick up a couple more books to get me to my total of 7 books. I picked out a few more than I needed just because if one book isn't grabbing me, I want to be able to switch gears very quickly and grab something else. First of all, I wanted to grab a couple thrillers just because I really love those fast-paced, gripping stories if they're well done. And I've had a couple on my Goodreads TBR for a while, and I just thought this was a perfect opportunity to give them a chance. The first one I'm going to try reading is The 13th Hour by Richard, Dotch something? I'm sorry, I'm awful at authors' last names. But this book sounds incredibly cool. It's told backwards in, I believe, 13 chapters that count backwards through the hours. At the beginning of the story, this man has seen his wife being murdered and is the prime suspect. And basically this story goes back 1 hour at a time as the husband tries to basically catch his wife's murderer and exonerate himself. It just sounds really gripping. I've read kind of the first few pages and it just looks like the kind of story that can pull me in. It's one of the longer novels I picked out for this readathon, coming in I think close to 400 pages, but if the writing is gripping enough, I'm sure I can fly through this. The other thriller I got out from the library is a lot newer. It actually came out just in 2014 and it's also quite a bit shorter. It's only 250 pages, so page length alone I was very interested, and that is Shovel Ready by Adam Sternberg. And this one sounds really cool. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic New York setting where there's a man who used to be a garbage man and has now become a bit of a hitman known as the Spade Man, I believe. And it's just this kind of gripping noir crime thriller, and it sounds really good. I haven't really seen a lot of people read or talk about this, so hopefully I enjoy this, and it just sounds really cool. One more thriller that I don't have from the library yet, but is on its way, is Lexicon by Max Berry. A lot of people read this because it came in the Box Riot book a little while back. That one I think is like 390 pages, but also is supposed to be super fast paced and exciting, and so if none of these books are grabbing me, I'm really hoping that one will, so might pick that one up. Now the last book that I got was something a little more lighthearted because I feel like I have a lot of dark thriller type books in this list, and I kind of wanted something more fun and cute if I'm just looking for something lighter to read. And so I picked up The Longest Date, Life as a Wife by Cindy Shupak, and she is actually one of the writers from Sex and the City, which is a TV show I absolutely love. Is anyone else still a fan and watches all the episodes as reruns? Because I do that. So I was very interested in reading her memoir about her own marriage and experiences in that. It's supposed to be quite humorous. Sometimes I do have trouble with humor in books, but I love the idea of kind of a cute little marriage memoir, and I'm hoping if I can identify with it, I might end up loving this one. It's incredibly short too, coming in at 210 pages, so if I want to read a lot of books this week, they're going to have to be shorter, so this book has become very attractive because it's one of the shortest books on my Goodreads TBR. So those are all the books that I have planned. Keep in mind that this list may change drastically over the next week, and I make no apologies for what actually happens. I have no idea how I'm going to find the time to read all these books. Like I said, it's not like I even have time off work. I have a job, I have responsibilities and housework, but somehow I'm gonna make it happen. I'm not planning on doing very many of the video challenges, possibly one, but otherwise I'm just going to do regular updates where I tell you what I'm reading and how it's going. Probably won't be every day just because of filming constraints, and it's really boring if I don't actually get any reading done, so probably every second day I'm hoping to get a video up. Please let me know, basically, are you planning on participating in the BookTubeAthon? What are you reading for the challenges? If you've made your own TBR video, please link it down below. I love watching all things BookTubeAthon, so I am very curious to know what other people have planned. Talk to you all really soon. I'm so excited. Thanks again to Ariel and all of the other hosts who are putting together this fabulous event. I am so ready. Bring it on. Okay, bye.